you to be mine again, baby. I know my lifestyle is driving you crazy. I cannot see myself without you.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sub 130 Half Marathon Training Prep Series. Things have definitely been heating up. As the time of this recording, we're less than 1 week out from the Publix Atlanta Half Marathon. Today is literally Monday, and I'm racing on Sunday. So we have a lot to catch up on. But before I jump into the training, I just want to say thank you to all the support. This channel has really been continuing to grow and grow from this series and from the other videos. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the community, welcome to the channel. I really appreciate you. If you just clicked onto this video and you just found the channel, welcome as well. I've been documenting my training for a half marathon from start to finish. So if you missed any of the previous episodes, there's a playlist I'll link below. But yeah, without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the training. So the last time that I talked to you guys, I had just run a new 10K PR, and I knew that the hardest weeks were still yet to come. So immediately following the 10K race, I jumped into what was at that point the biggest mileage week of the prep. I was going for 50 miles and it was going to be a challenge. I've only hit 50 once before in my last half marathon prep, and this time I felt a bit more prepared since I had done more mileage, more long runs, and I had that entire other prep under my belt. So I felt like I was ready to go. I won't bore you with all the easy runs, but essentially I was running between 6 to 8 miles for my easy runs every day, and then I just stuck to one workout in the middle of the week and then a long run on Sunday. So for the workout for the 50-mile week, I ended up doing 5 times 1 mile at tempo pace, so slightly faster than half marathon pace. And in between each of those mile repeats, I did a half mile of float. And float pace is basically like faster than easy run pace, but slower than tempo run pace. So it was like 7:30, 7:45 minutes per mile pace for those half mile floats. And that workout went very, very well. I feel like it really showed the 10K type speed that I developed from the mini block that I'd done for the 10K race. And I still had the strength in the legs from all the long runs I'd been doing. And even the floats, the 7:30, 7:45 minutes per mile, like half mile sections, felt comfortable. Whereas in past preps, I was able to hit the mile sections, but I was not able to really fully recover during the floats. But with this workout, I was feeling confident, feeling comfortable. The heart rate felt like it was coming back down in between the reps. And that's a really strong sign that the fitness is finally all coming together. So that was the workout that I did for that week. More easy running after that. And then I hit a pretty big long run. So this was actually the night of the Super Bowl. Instead of watching the Super Bowl, I decided to just go out into the city to the park in the middle of the city and just crank out 14 miles. And honestly, this run did not quite go to plan, but again, I was cautious and I knew that I had a whole nother week after to run even more miles and go into a bigger long run. So I wasn't too pressed about it, but I ended up doing 14 miles. And within those 14 miles, I did 3 times 2 miles at half marathon pace. And I made sure to choose a section of the park that would mimic the race. So lots of uphill, a big downhill section, and then a climb to the end. And I think that was very beneficial just in simulating the course conditions for race day and also for just getting a really hard workout in. I originally wanted to do 4 times 2 mile, but I cut the last rep because I was falling off the pace. And like I said, I knew that I had more running left to do the next week. So I had to make sure that I didn't overcook myself too early. But yeah, for the 2 mile sections, I was able to hold roughly goal pace, even actually a bit faster. First section, I averaged 6:49 for the 2 miles. Second section, 6:46. And then the last 2 mile segment, I averaged 6:54. So that's just a couple seconds off my goal pace. but I still think it was a good effort. Finished up with a couple more miles to make it 14 on the night. And I think this is a really important part of half marathon training, especially when you want to run faster times, is training above that 13-mile mark or 13.1 mile mark. The very first half marathons I didn't really even get close to 13 miles. I think the biggest run I did was like 11. And that's great for if you just want to be able to complete the distance, or if you want to run maybe like 145, 140 even, I think. But once you start getting down into like sub 7 minute pace, and everybody is at a different point in their running journey. Some people have a lot more talent than me. Some people have a lot farther to progress if they're newer to running. But I know for me at this point, if I want to run 130, I have to be training basically above that 13.1 mile mark on my long runs. Not all of them, but especially in the peak weeks. So ended up the week with actually like 49.5 miles. I don't know what, I think I miscalculated or something, but I'll count it as 50 for the sake of this video. And then we were rolling into the actual peak. That was like the pre-peak. And then we hit the actual peak week, which I ended up doing 53 miles. I'll put it up on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it was 53 miles. And this week was definitely challenging, definitely pushing myself to the limits, but I think everything, like I said before, has all been coming together for this moment. So again, I was doing easy runs, 6 to 8 miles, like basically every day. And the conditions this week were pretty miserable. Like not the greatest, especially early in the week. It was a lot of cold, a lot of wet, a lot of wind. And I posted about this on Strava, but I really feel like those are the runs, those are the days that you have to win, that you have to drag yourself out of bed, put the shoes on, and get out the door. Because if you can't overcome like those mental barriers on those training days, it's going to be all the more challenging on race day if it's the same conditions, or even if it's good conditions, to pull that fast PR out of yourself, to pull a good performance out of yourself when you're hurting, when you're tired, when you don't feel like doing it. Because at basically every race that I've ever run, there's come a point within the race where I've just thought, let's quit, let's stop running, let's just jog it into the finish. But I've always been able to find some sort of gear, some sort of switch to flip, and then just like finish out the race hard, regardless of whether I run a PR or not. So that's my little motivational speech. Get out the door even when you don't feel like it. Win the hard days. That's my motivational speech. But to get back on track, again, I was running like 6 to 8 miles for the easy runs. And then for my peak week workout, not the long run, but just my midweek workout, I ended up doing like a tempo run at half marathon pace. So I ended up doing a 2-mile warm up and then 6 miles at half marathon pace around this 3-mile loop of campus that, similar to like the park loop that I was doing, a lot of like hills. It was like big drop and then like a big climb for like 3 miles. And actually part of the stretch on campus will be included in the race. So it was good to get reps of that hill in, just to prepare me for race day conditions. But I did 6 miles, just straight through. I haven't really done that many tempo runs this build, which I only really realized like that week. I was doing a lot more intervals, like mile repeats or like K repeats. But tempo runs are very important for, I always say strength, but tempo runs are actually very good for strength and just holding race pace or holding even faster than race pace for long durations of time. Because in a race, it's not going to be cut up into segments. It's good to have training like that because you can recover and actually hit the paces, but it's also good to have tempo runs where you're running continuously, because that is what you're going to be doing in a race. You're going to be running continuously, hopefully. So yeah, that was a good test of fitness. For that run, I ended up averaging basically like goal pace for the miles. I went 6:47, 6:53, 6:51, 6:46, 6:54, and then 6:50 to close. And it was a hard effort for sure, especially like when you're doing that much elevation gain. But I think it was a good stimulus, and it's another brick that I'm stacking up, preparing for the half marathon. So with all of that out of the way, we come now to the final big long run of the prep, big 15 miles. And this was honestly like pretty intimidating for me. This is my first 15-mile long run for a prep. The longest run I've ever done was 20 miles, but that was kind of just a one-off thing I did for my birthday. But this 15-miler was my first big long run workout of this size. And I decided to do 4 times 2 miles at half marathon pace. So kind of repeating what I did the previous week, but just adding on another rep. And that workout was tough, but I think it went very well. For the 2-mile sections, I ended up averaging 6:44, 6:46, then 6:47, and then finishing off with 6:43. Really just emptying out the tank there. And I feel like I've recovered pretty well from it. So yeah, that 15-mile run wrapped up what I believe was 53 miles for the week. I'll put it up here on the screen. But yeah, peak week completed. I was feeling confident, feeling good, definitely very fatigued, very tired. But at that point, the work has basically been completed. Now I'm moving into, and right now, even this week, I'm in the taper period. And if you're new to training, tapering is basically when, after you've built up your mileage for a prep, right before the race, you come down in mileage, you come down in intensity, you just kind of run easy to make sure you're completely rested up and ready to go on race day. You let your body absorb all the training you've been doing, all those hard runs, all those workouts. You absorb the adaptations, and then come race day, you're fresh and ready to just hit the ground running, hit it hard, and run fast. So this past week, I really just kept it chill. I did easy runs as usual, but just kind of dropped the mileage to like 5-6 miles. And then I also did a workout. I just did 4 times a mile with half-mile float. So similar to what I did before, but just cut one of the reps off. That actually felt really good. And I low-key might have run it a bit too fast, but I was feeling good, and I feel like I've recovered from it. So I think that's okay. And then for my long run, I just did 11 miles at a easy to steady type of pace. Yeah, I averaged 8:28 minutes per mile, which is not like crazy fast, not crazy easy, but I think a week out, I'll have plenty of time to recover from that. That basically wraps up all of my training. I'm going to do a couple more easy runs, maybe one like really short workout this week. And then come Sunday, it'll be time to race. This whole build has went pretty well, I think, in terms of all the builds I've done. There was a few setbacks here and there, definitely some challenging runs, but I think through and through, I have been consistent, running my mileage, increasing my mileage over time, and I'm excited to see what we can do. So the next time I check in with you guys will be for the race day video. Definitely subscribe, have those notifications turned on so you don't miss it. And again, just thank you so much for everybody who has been joining us on this series, on this journey. I'm gonna be kind of sad to see it end, but this is not the end of my running career. This is not the end of the channel, obviously. I got big things in store coming soon. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.